So I'm watching a documentary about this dude, King Von. It happened to pop up, and I've been hearing so many people talk about him in such high regards. And I'm like, wasn't this dude doing putting out negative music? I don't understand why. I just don't understand this generation. I really, really don't. So I'm listening to the documentary, and I believe this was actually on Netflix at one point. It's about 3 hours long, and it talks about him being the first rapper serial killer. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, man. This gotta be an assumption, right? So I'm listening. Let's see how far I am. I'm not that far in. I'm telling you. Probably 15, 20 minutes. And this right here. Oh. So this dude was killing people and tweeting about it. Like, what the hell? Like, this was known that he was doing this, and he got away with it for so long. This is the gotta be the worst generation ever in the history of black people. Okay, so I go and I see this article, and they say talking about it's complex, and they're praising this guy, and I'm like, here's more people praising him, but y'all knew he was a serial killer. Most people that praise him don't talk about that, and if they do, let's see, what kind of comments do we see? So here's a corny song with him and the corny dude YNW Melly, who is on trial now. I started looking at some of the stuff about that, and I'm like, he was accused. Wait, hold on. He killed his two friends allegedly. Okay, whatever. So serial killers banging the best tunes in the last 20 years. Okay, now I had to like some comments because some people, over here sound like they got common sense. And one says, this is so embarrassing to my culture. Who doesn't behave like this? King Von and boyfriend. Oh, God, I gotta like that one. This supposed to be more gangster than this. Too slow. Acoustic acting zesty. No. Because this is just, these people aren't really enough. Yeah, he said he stopped listening when he said his girl got a ding-a-ling. Now, I thought he said his gun had a ding-a-ling, but he said his girl got it. Okay, all right. That was YN Melly's lyrics. All right, we can look it up. Hold on. Many bees want to F my 30. Got a ding-a-ling. Okay, got it. Okay, that's what I thought he was saying. Whoever in the comments either playing, trolling, or they just didn't understand what the dude was saying. This is clear. He said, many bees want to F. My 30 got a ding-a-ling. My 30 got a ding-a-ling. She said she want to F a dude. Gang, I'm going to take it to the moon. We know what he's saying. Do we need to translate this? No, we don't need to translate that. But that don't got nothing to do with what we talking about here. Let's go back. So I'm going to skim through this. It says 2020 tragedy loomed over Chicago hip-hop. We seen lives of 3 prominent figures in the city's drill scene. And it just a note to Ice Cube. Why you sitting up here trying to act like you're not accepted in the where Hollywood or whatever you're doing over there, son. Shut your mouth. Whenever you decide that you want to be responsible, take responsibility for being one of the founding fathers of this, things like gangster rap and drill music. You and NWA, you and Dre and Yella and your boy Easy. Then we can start there. Since you want to do something, do that. I don't know how you're going to fix it, but, take responsibility. Okay? Say sorry. How about that? Do that. And then shut up. So, and if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, go look up Ice Cube and see the junk he's talking now. Oh, they want to hold me back. They want to shut me down. This fake woke thing. I guess it's in his script now. Him and his son Ice Cube done so many things from producing, from music to movies and shows and all that kind of stuff. He's never been without work. And then his son comes out, from what I've seen, not the best talent, but he getting plenty of work too. So yeah. So back to the article, Trey Savage. Okay, then FBG Duck. I didn't know who he was either. It was a big deal. I went on there. That one song he had with the dude that apparently is no longer here either. F him. Because, FBG Duck's mom was all over it. I heard she getting paid on her OnlyFans. Man, this world is done, son. Okay? But she making good money on OnlyFans. But here she also lost a couple of children. I seen the mess between her and Tommy Sotomayor. And all that brought me to that song that him and a guy who apparently is also deceased from the same type of violence is in, called F 'em. I done shared it a couple of times, and I think I even used it in some online, just a little no good piece of trash out there doing just, that I made a response to or whatever. But that song F 'em, I like it. It's tight, okay? The whole thing. All right, but anywho, so apparently, and what I got from this documentary is that if King Von, let me get it right now. King Von is allegedly responsible for FBG Duck's demise, but there was nothing official that police had to tie him to that. Interesting. But we know what happened to him happened in broad daylight in Chicago's downtown Gold Coast on August 4th. So Von became the latest addition to that list on November 6th when he, met his demise just 1 week after dropping his latest album, the most ambitious album, Welcome to O Block. They don't own none of these blocks. But anywho, on Friday morning outside of a lounge in Atlanta, an altercation, I don't care what happened. Let's get past that. He was 26 years old, father of 3 children when he get left. Bye. Born Davon Bennett, he was among a special class of Chicago artists who brought a breath of fresh air to the community's hip-hop scene. This is why I say older adults. Because when the guy, I posted the short where Kelly Mano was going against the dude who looks 45 years old but is allegedly playing a role on TikTok as a teenager with a beanie on, and he has a very square-shaped jaw. And he's like, who let Generation X off the hook? Well, no, that was a different guy. She did with that one too. But this guy was like, were there no water hoses outside? Okay, but really the one about letting Generation X off the hook. No, ain't nobody getting off the hook. Okay? I agree with a lot of stuff she said, but at the end of the day, most, I'm going to say most, because not all. Not all. But most Generation X's can't mess with this generation, and when it really come down to it, because this generation don't have no heart. Okay? In our generation, the trigger had no heart. No. These folk don't have no heart. And unless you don't have no heart, you can't compete with them, because they don't care. Like, they're not going to discriminate. They're not going to leave your grandma alone or not get your daughter in dead, your 2-year-old in broad daylight. None of that. They don't care. They don't mind going to jail. They think it's cool. They don't care if their life is over because they really feel like their life is over anyway. So, that's a big difference. And that is way more deadly than, playing outside till dark and riding your bike everywhere you want to go. And, just all the real life things that, a lot of people and went through that just made us a lot tougher, but that's a different type of tough, in my opinion. It's no competition to being gangster, if you will. It made you tough towards life. You're more willing to tough things out and be a hard worker and fight through stuff and deal with, shitty bosses and stuff like that. Okay. So, although it was cute what the girl was saying, the lady, Kelly Mano, and everything like that, and she has some good points, at the end of the day, it's different. They're just different subgenres of tough. All right. So, back to this article. All right, so he brought a breath of fresh air to the hip-hop scene. And this is my point. I didn't make my point. Generation X does need to be held accountable because whoever wrote this article and whoever is in charge of this magazine, I'm sure, is not of the young generation. The older generation also, at some point, condoned a lot of this. And again, it started with groups like NWA. So in my opinion, when they came out with their type of music, to some degree, a lot of people in my generation, Generation X, understood where they were coming from until it became a bit too much. But no, it's not too much now. You shouldn't have condoned it in the first place. You shouldn't agree with it in the first place. All this starts with NWA wanting to be able to say F the police, because everybody wanted to say F the police for different reasons, and the Rodney King beating and stuff like that, and thought it was cool and cute. But they weren't just saying F the police, now were they? No, they were glorifying a type of lifestyle, and they were also saying F women as well. Okay, so here we go. Y'all help make these people famous, help push them out on social media and all that kind of stuff. So, article. At a time when many of his peers and predecessors named his only big family, his family, Lil Durk, was making, I don't know who that is, but I've heard of him, was making an impact on the streets and the Billboard charts. How the heck do they get on the Billboard charts? How do they get checks on social media? How do they get record deals? How do they get famous? And it's ridiculous. Okay. Songs laced with auto-tune. Shout out to T-Pain. And you got to know that story to understand. Vaughn made a name for himself by forging the melodic route and opting for vividly detailed, immersive, and honest storytelling. Okay, storytelling is a gold mine. A rarity nowadays when it comes to rap or hip-hop, but what stories is he telling? Okay, now, but in this article it says it was reminiscent of a young Ice-T or the late Speaker Knockers. I don't know who that is. I don't know. I only listened to that one song with him and YN Melly, so I can't really speak too much on his particular music, and I don't care to listen to his music. Come on, the dude was allegedly a serial killer. Like, what okay, so he in drill rap, we already know what that's about. That's about gang violence. It's about ha we killed you, or ha we're coming for you, and ha we killed you and we smoking on your dead body ashes. It took me watching a documentary from a bunch of mothers of dead gang members, the Tuka mama, and the whole deal about that, and then the other mama's talking about where's that song is about her son. He was killed and left in the woods, and people making it famous on TikTok. And then I said, what in the world, is this true? This is crazy. So he wouldn't be the first drill artist from Chicago to demonstrate the thoughtful thoughtful and skillful lyricism. The Parkway Gardens natives delivered it in a ferocious and resonating. Ferocious, he was using melodic tunes and auto-tune, and it was ferocious. Like Mike Tyson, like, I want to eat your children with that type of ferocious. Because Mike Tyson I'm ferocious. It didn't sound like, does ferocious have a different meaning now? Because okay, in a resonating package that was and still is unrivaled. Songs like Took It to the O and the Crazy Story series brought back catchy narrative, singing songs of reminiscence. Okay, I'm waiting for them to get to the part where he was a killer. Let's keep going. Bringing to the light the bleakest forms of nihilism in the streets. Okay, I ain't gonna lie, I don't know what that means. So what we talking about? Okay. The rejection of all religious and moral principles in the belief that life is meaningless. They condemned the show for his sin. Okay, what are we saying right now? Wow. Okay. Whether his tales cause you to dance or shudder, guys. His precise wordplay and passionate delivery always made him effective. Effective. All right, so this person interviewed King Von in 2019. Isn't that a year before his demise? He was immediately captivated by his engaging personality, which could be disarming. He was very animated and personable in a way that hinted at his potential star power. By his account at the time, Meek Mill felt the same way, and we talked about how he started writing his rhymes in jail. His penchant for staying hypervigilant. Listen, the little young bucks that may attempt to read this article is not even going to be able to pronounce these words, much less know what they mean. They don't even know how to do this. I guarantee you. Just that simple. Okay? Get the fuck. So who you writing this article for? Huh? I would like to know. Who are you writing this article for? Make it make sense. Oh gosh. So okay, I'm waiting. All of this is praise. At the end of the day, that is my point. And I just he's still going on and on and on and raving about this guy. Let's see. DJ Academics asks Von if he keeps his head on a swivel all the time after pointing out the rapper's habit of looking around during his interviews. Why not, gang? Von replied, my head been on a swivel before I was rapping. So, do my head not supposed to be on a swivel? Is that how you... Okay. If you've been like this your whole life, do it stop because you got money now? You can't... That's not... Okay. Do it stop? Okay. I'm not doing it. I'm not reading no more of that. Okay? Again, praising him. I just don't understand. So, this is the quote that was on Google that had me click on this. King Von deserves to be remembered for who he was in his totality as an artist and as a man. Who was he as a male? Because I'm not calling him no man. Who was he? According to this documentary, I'm pretty sure a lot of people seen it. If not, I'm going to show it to you in a minute. He was a serial killer and enjoyed it. So it says, as a rapper, he was one of the best pure lyricists in his era of Chicago drill, helping to repopularize personal storytelling with a burning and infectious bravado that made him stand out amongst giants. And like a lot of young men from the most neglected parts of Chicago, he was someone who chose to make the best out of nothing for himself and the people around him. I was understanding that he took out people around him. I just don't get it. I don't get it. All right, so this guy, I watched the documentary he did about the death of Donda West, and it was pretty interesting. So when I saw this documentary, I knew I had to watch it. It just, because I'm like, what? I can't watch. All right, so there is another one he did about FBG Duck, and I'm gonna watch that one as well. The murder of FBG Duck. Wait, the 2 million Wu-Tang album resells for 4 million? Oh wow, okay. So as you can see, he's doing a lot of the rapper who I remember that story. I remember seeing the interview from the guy. He was high or whatever, and he cut off his penis. He really did, and lived to tell the story. Yep, lived to tell the story. So you see, how Gucci Mane betrayed Waka Flocka. That's gotta be an interesting story. So he has a lot of interest. Gangs of Chicago, O Block V versus Tuckerville. Okay, so that will be Von's crew. So I saw the documentary of Tuka's mom and the other mom saying, oh, he's smoking on they saying they're smoking on my son. Like, this is just what's going on. So as you can see, he has an array of little mini docs, I guess, on just different things going on in, I don't know what you want to call it, rap, drill music, hip hop, I don't know. He's doing a lot of stuff here on 6ix9ine. Going on. Okay, even talk about the Gucci Man and Jeezy beef. Wow. All right. So his documentary is, as you can see, 3 hours and 36 minutes and 37 minutes long, and it is saying King Von Rap's first serial killer. Look at how many views it's gotten. 7,335,441 views. Look at this. Look at this. Look at these chapters. Look at these chapters. Look how they look. Bro, this is insane. This is insane. Let's see, people in the comments. Okay, well, that was me. I say, how on earth was this allowed to go on? How was it allowed to go on? How was this guy allowed to be on Twitter talking about not only what he did, but what he was going to do right before he did it? And then laughing about what he did after he did it. And keep going on and on and on. I just don't understand. Look, somebody said, this is so damn dumb. Take this down. Stop promoting violence and spreading lies on young black men. Where's the lie, Craig? I just don't get it. Okay, so wait, this is bullshit. He was a man just like you are. He has 3 children, and he was just a product of his environment. Pretty much everyone is a product of their environment. And just, it's only people who turn out to be killers and gangsters aren't the only ones on earth, you guys, that have had a horrible environment. There are plenty of people that have gone through a lot similar or worse, or just, some very different but gruesome things. And guess what? They didn't do a lot of this stuff. They didn't promote gruesome crimes, and they didn't go out and commit them either, and still aren't. Oh, and they live, Greg. They live to fight another day. Okay, and this person say now Von's a pack. Okay, you see how life works. What goes around comes back around again. All right, Grand Poobah, if you're with me. All right, so now let's get to YN Melly, because this was just, one day I just decided, I said, let me go and watch some of this court stuff and see what's going on with this case. Been seeing it pop up on YouTube, what's going on with this case. And apparently this guy's being accused of taking out 2 of his friends, gang members, crew members, music buddies, or whatever. And at first I'm like, well, people in the comments are kind of saying he didn't do it. So maybe the guy really didn't do it. Those were his best buds. They grew up since childhood. I'm hearing all this in court. Grew up since childhood and everything like that. Then I started looking into just different types of things being presented. Okay, right before it happened, he got their names tattooed on him. What? When they were still alive? Yeah, I might not be up on the latest culture of these demons, but if someone is still alive and you have their names tattooed on you, what does that mean? Can somebody help me out with that? But then, guys, I started seeing testimonials from people. The woman that was the mother of the ex-girlfriend that they was trying to pressure and bully. I'm like, this DA is just horrible. Like, this is crazy. If anything, guys, whether this guy did it or not, I don't think he's going to get convicted. I think that there's enough there that can get him convicted for sure. I think that there's, as presented, based on what has been presented so far, I think that there's a great possibility for them to convict him if they want him in jail. Now, if they want him to remain out on the streets and continue to be the influence of the degeneration of black people, then yeah, they're going to let him go. But if they choose to put him away, they can put him away based upon what they have. Because it's just pointing to him. It really is. But then you have this DA, and you look at why, first of all, why did they put her on the case? My only logical answer is because, yes, they want the state to lose. You can't even get a picture of him off Google. They don't even have the images tab when you look him up. Here is a guy, 24 years old. And in my opinion, the powers that be seem to like. I can't stand going on places and they just wanna, pop up with these ads. So this guy, apparently he had this. His name is Jamal Demons. People saying demons, but that's not how you spell demons, is it? So maybe it's pronounced demons. You know what I'm saying? All right. So now saying he's 22. Now Google say he's 24. Either way, that is super young. The mugshot about his lawyer was going around apparently, and now I don't see her. I see this black guy. But it's the people in the comment section, y'all. The people in the comment section are just like, oh, free him, free him. I'm really not sure if a lot of people truly don't believe he did it, or they don't care. And I'm leaning more towards they don't care. They don't care. This is just what society has become. And that is why I say Generation X, yeah, we can talk that talk and everything, and you had to go outside, you couldn't come inside and all that. It was really truly children had to go out there and be on their own and survive in the streets. And you come in to eat. And if you're thirsty, you better drink out the hose, because if you go in the house, you stand in the house. And nobody, guess what? Nobody wanted to be in the house. Okay? And shout out to the people, all the people that was in my generation that got to go play outside. You understand me? Shout out to y'all. They got to go have those experiences and ride bikes and play with other children and stuff like that. Because when you in the coach, your ass can't do that. All right, you understand? So I get it and I understand it, and I knew a lot of people was doing it, but I didn't get to live that life, not really. So, there's that. But do people care if he did it or not? I don't think they do, because you cannot deny this one thing here.
That's Christopher Thomas, known as YNW Juvie. The man accused of murdering him, YNW Melly, is on trial accused of killing another man too. Juvie's dad is here with...
Now, the lady you saw is the lawyer that allegedly had the mugshot. I don't know what for or anything like that, but I know we don't see her anymore. She looks like she's probably going through some things. I don't know what her story was, but said my homeboy said he didn't do it. There's something mentally wrong with YN Melly, constantly smiling at his murder trial. Okay, let's just start there before we even listen to this. Because this is in no way cute whatsoever. And we've seen some crazy criminals, out here that try to defend themselves or have public trials, and we're behaving very just strange, right? It happens. It happens. But for the most part, when someone is being tried for murder, especially a double murder, okay, now let's kick in the fact that this is supposed to be his childhood best friends, all right? His crew that he's getting money with, doing music, whatever else they're doing. No remorse? You're playing around in court? You're not even caring about what the family is dealing with to show respect there? Come on. And for any of you guys, just from seeing that alone, you're going to still doubt that this guy may have did it, or you're going to act like you don't care? You're gonna act like you don't care. Alright, so now this is the comments under the video that the dad of one of the deceased did the interview with Law and Crime. What is it? What is there? YNW? Okay, so this is supposed to be YNW Juvie's father. Pay attention.
His story. I'm Anjanette Levy, and welcome to Law and Crime Sidebar Podcast. Testimony is underway in the trial of Jamel Demons, known by his stage name YNW Melly. Melly is accused of murdering two members of his group, Chris Thomas, who went by YNW Juvie, and Anthony Williams, who was known as YNW Sack Chaser. The men were shot to death in an SUV after leaving a late-night recording session on October 26, 2018, with Melly and another group member, Cortland Henry, who went by YNW Bortland. Bortland was driving the SUV. Later that morning, Bortland showed up at the hospital. Juvie and Sack Chaser were dead in the car. Melly was not with them. Chris, first of all, I know this has been a difficult almost 5 years.
Now listen, I'm going to say this because there's a lot of y'all, I've seen a lot of comments on it, and not on these type videos with the father or whatever, but under the court cases, and a lot of people are just, speaking as if this guy didn't do it. This is really what goes down between these people, especially when they're gang affiliated. If they feel like you getting in the way of the money or the popularity, they will take you out. I had a cousin. He was very young, in his early 20s. Twins like 23, 24. And he was taken out almost the exact same way. He was executed in the car, sitting in the passenger seat. And the driver was sitting where they're saying YN Melly was sitting. And they were all crew, all grew up together, and they were blood members. They were blood gang members, right? And apparently, they have decided, and the hit was ordered, to take my cousin out. He was the quote-unquote finest. He was, I guess, making the most money. And, he was smelling himself big time. And apparently they just wanted him out of the way. They wanted to, all these speculations and things, but, pretty much everybody's saying the same thing because it was clear, that he was the one, the most popular one, the one getting the most money. And he was executed the same way. And when he got shot, the driver who was in on it, he got hit by a stray bullet. And I think he ended up staying in a car and going to the hospital. And they were at a gas station, and the car crashed into the gas station. And they, my cousin was dead on the scene. He laid on that ground for 10 hours, I kid you not. He was dead on the scene. And the other guy went to the hospital, and he pretended as if he didn't know what happened, blah, 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 blah. But there were two guys that got out the car and ran. Now, this guy is supposed to be a gangster. Eventually, he called, I think it was his sister, and told her what he did. And somehow it was known or figured out, or the word was put out, or whatever, or the sister said something. I am not sure of it. I think all those factors may have played into it. But he ended up turning himself in, and he is in jail for that to this day. It happens, guys. It happens. It happens. Listen to the father.
Years now. How are you doing right now with this trial finally starting?
It's kind of overwhelming at times, but doing the best I can at the moment.
A lot of people may not know a lot about your son. What do you want people to know about him? We know he was, an aspiring rapper. He was part of this YNW group.
Chris was a good kid. He's the second of my oldest boys. He's the oldest of his mom's kids, and he loved his whole family. He loved all his friends, and he just got caught up for being too loyal and got betrayed by one of his so-called friends.
Now, this makes it hard to believe anything else the father is going to say. And I'm just going to say this just off of, can I say GP in a video like this? Because I'm what I'm saying when I say just what it used to mean. I don't know what it might mean right now, but just to be saying, because I don't have in-depth information about this young man, okay? But his father is saying, oh, he didn't hurt nobody, he did nothing to nobody, he was a good old kid, and you know all the little stereotype things that white people troll and type under videos of black people who were horrible people and who got killed by the cops mainly. Allegedly the guy was in a gang and he didn't put out positive music and his lifestyle wasn't positive, so how was he a good and innocent kid? So that puts just a different spin on his further testimony. However, assuming that this is fact, because it can be easily debunked, right? Everything else that he's going to say, not this part, assuming it can be debunked, it hasn't been debunked. There are bold statements to make if they are not true, because it can only be one way, and it's clear as day. The things that he's saying about YN Melly and the other guy, I think it's Portland, that's on trial. Listen to what he's saying.
It's a sad situation for everybody.
Tell me a little bit about that, because it's my understanding that Juvie was friends with Melly and Sack Chaser for quite some time. Tell me, when did you first come to know Melly?
I met Melly around like 99.
I don't know why they are giving this much out, but every American family needs to see this.
They've been running these commercials about the government giving away money for a long time, and I don't know why they keep showing them to me, because I keep skipping them. I don't know why they are still trying to get people to go for it, because I think the PPP loans taught people a good lesson. Cut it out, y'all. Just let it rock. You don't have to play it 1,000 times. We heard you the first time. If people want the money, I guarantee you don't have to keep saying it. They're going to go for it as soon as they hear it. Or maybe the second time. But it's annoying. Anywho, let's continue.
Like a couple years before Chris met him, I was friends with his Melly's mom, best friend at the time. And that's how I got to know Melly. Then Chris got to know him after that. They was all good kids coming up. Just laughing, playing, joking with each other, having fun, like to hang out with each other, and he loved them boys, and he loved them to a fault.
So he was friends with them since they were little kids then, it sounds like.
Yes, ma'am. He went to elementary, middle school, high school, all together. I know his mom as well, and his stepdad, and the rest of his family, Melly's family. And the music started, I think, around 2000, maybe 13.
And they were just all making the music together?
Yes, started from rapping at school.
Now this is the part where I say it is odd for the father to be sitting up here saying he was a good guy, he did nothing to nobody. Someone in the comments says, so y'all feel bad for dead murderers? Strange. They both killed people and now they're dead. Well, I don't know about this part, but he also says, let Melly out. He made his choice and he needs to live with it. I don't get that concept. Why would you want someone on the streets who can easily kill his friends? Do you know what he do to someone he don't know? Like, get the word.
To making music together and coming up with the name, the YNW, and just went from there. And Zach and Chris and Melly and even Jay Green was all founder members of the YNW. Melly was just the face of it. I said, now that Chris and Anthony is gone, now he just took everything over.
Sounds like your son and the other guys had a lot of really big dreams.
Yes, ma'am, they did. They love music, they love to perform, and they was on their way, to do big things, and it just got cut short. This tragedy. Everybody else around still trying to pick up the pieces. A lot of families got broken with the situation.
Melly is saying that he is innocent. His defense attorneys are saying the state can't prove its case. But it's my understanding you believed from the very beginning that Melly was responsible for your son's death and the death of Anthony.
From the day one, I believe that Melly was...
Now, the evidence has shown, the ballistics has shown that while they tried to say that someone was shooting at them from outside of the car. The ballistic shows the shots came from inside of the car. Okay.
Responsible for my son's death on October 26th when I first heard the story, because his explanation, when I finally talked to him in Cortland on the FaceTime, their response and how they was reacting, they showed no remorse. They didn't act like they was grieving, like they lost a best friend or nothing. They was, in my opinion, they was in the best spirits. They never came to town, never came to my son's funeral, never came to Sack's funeral. And these are best friends. He passed straight through the county of Indian River, went to Brevard and did a music video, but he couldn't even stop and pay his condolences to his best.
Did you hear what he said? Did you hear what he said? Now this guy here says, who is that guy? If everyone believes the boy killed them, he got ops. I wouldn't show up to the funeral either, but I would call and explain why. I want to say no, because I think that by the time of his funeral, people just did not believe that YN Melly did it. Okay, from what I understand, people didn't just start out thinking that he did it. They would think in a million. That's probably one of the reasons why a lot of people are still doubting it to this day, because they're like, he wouldn't do it. So I don't think that's a factor. And even if they thought he did it, I just don't see too many people being bold enough to say they're going to do something about it, because simple reasons. Just street code, different things that we don't really need to get into, but I don't see that. Now, let's get to the second part of the comment where he said he wouldn't show up, but he would call and explain why. Now, what it is this generation down bad so much that they can't even have the dignity to call the parents and say, I'm so sorry, that was my boy and I love him, but I got heat on me because people trying to say I did it and I didn't do it. I wouldn't do that, but I can't come to the funeral, unfortunately, because I don't want to bring all that drama to the funeral. I mean, is it just too much for him to at least do that to show some kind of remorse? Listen to what the father is saying. They have seemed happy and in celebratory like spirits since these young men were taken away. Make it make sense.
His friend's mom. He even got Jana tatted on his neck. That's why his defense attorney got him wearing turtlenecks and shirts to hide his neck, because he got the Jana tatted on his neck. That's it.
I don't know if these tats were mentioned in court. They should be. But this boy, I couldn't figure out why for the life of me. Is it that cold in court? And in no way, shape, or form did I see anything online with this dude ever in a turtleneck. So he had somebody go out and purchase him a whole wardrobe of turtlenecks for his court dates, because just about everything I've seen has had him in turtlenecks, except for recently. He's been in like suits, with a blouse, a shirt, with a collar. Okay, he's so small, all you need is a, thicker collar, and boom. You really still can cover up what's, there. What he wants to hide, which are those tattoos. Now, a turtleneck in court. Why would he, let's just say, first of all, he's not wearing that turtleneck for no reason. When you're not a turtleneck person in real life, you're not going to just decide to start wearing turtlenecks just because you're in court. That's not we already know. That don't need to be explained. But the question is, why would he want to hide the tattoos? Tattoos of a person is usually for when they pass away. When it comes to guys like this, that's usually what it's for. A lot of people get tattoos of their children and their spouse, people they love that are still alive, but that's connected to something that's more like being an admiration of, and your children, you love them, you admire them, your spouse, you love them, that type of thing. But usually when people get tattoos on their body of others and other type of relationships, it is like a memorial, a RIP type of thing. So why would he get them while they're still alive? That wearing a turtleneck, could it be because he doesn't want that brought up in court and have to address it, and it potentially counting against him in this trial?
mom's name, and he got Chris' name and Zach's name. And this guy, that guy is just, I have no words for that guy.
What was it in particular that was said on that FaceTime that made you think that Melly was responsible?
Nothing was said. Actually, like the demeanor. It was like the body language, really. Like I was just reading them, and as I'm telling them and asking them questions, I got so emotional I started crying. They wasn't reacting to.
Okay, this is going to sound a little nuts. On that FaceTime that made you think that Melly was responsible?
Nothing was said. Actually, like the demeanor. It was like the body language, really. Like I was just reading them, and as I'm telling them and asking them questions, I got so emotional I started crying. They wasn't reacting to. They acted like they didn't have to take a loss at all. That's how I took it. And then when I was talking to them, I still had in the back of my mind that something's not right. Something's not right.
Did they tell you anything about what they claimed happened with the drive-by they claimed happened?
No, they had absolutely no explanation. Like we had to figure it out just like the police.
Chris, why do you think that this happened? Why do you think, Melly did this? Because, Melly is on trial. The state has to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt that he committed these crimes. But why do you think this happened?
I think the story about the $200,000 with Anthony was a true story because it's not reported, but Chris told me the same story, and also it was a $500,000 play, and Melly was going to get $200,000, Zach was going to get $200,000, Chris was going to get $100,000. And as I'm hearing it from Chris, they was going to sell the YNW brand, not a record deal or nothing like that. It was like for the brand itself. And by them being founding members, they was going to get a piece of the pie. So I don't think Melly did it on his own. I think that manager guy got in his ear and did a little divide and conquer, because if it was up to Zach, it would never be a 100K management.
They were going to sell the YNW name for licensing or to sell products? What do you mean they were going to sell the name?
For marketing, licensing, stuff like that. I think they want to go up on the big umbrella just to push them, I think. Push the brand more global. That's what I'm thinking.
And so you think that Melly wanted a bigger cut of that then?
I think Melly didn't want to give them guys nothing. He wanted to be the only one to shine. And then they came to town next day and gave the mothers $15,000, the other mother $10,000. So I thought to myself, if Zach was going to get $200,000, Chris was getting $100,000. If we could pay these people $25,000, keep $275,000, that's how I saw it. It just nothing added up. Melly still to this day for me to hear him call them boys his best friend is an insult. That was an insult.
Was there any sign of bad blood before your son's life was taken and before Anthony was killed? Or was there any tension there that you knew of?
Not with Juvie, not with Chris, but you heard things about him and Anthony getting into like altercations about disputes about money over certain situations, and they got in a fight prior to that, and they said like. The story that they say Zach beat him up and knocked his goals out in front of his girlfriend, and like 2 days later, I think that's when the incident happened.
Chris, I know that something that has to be really hard about this is the fact that there are relatives here, relatives of Cortland Henry, who are also relatives of the victims.
Yes. Chris and Cortland share a sister, and she's my daughter. Her and Chris had the same dad, which is me, and her and Cortland share the same mom. And she took the side of Melly. She still to this day screams Free Melly all on her Facebook, Instagram. She'll go live with Free Melly shirts, and they just got her brainwashed with the money. They just showering her with gifts in Portland and got my daughter just brainwashed to the fact that she wishing the killer of her brother was free. I just don't understand that. That's a heartbreaking feeling, man.
Wow.
For me to see that daily, her saying that, that's just heartbreaking.
Do you talk to your daughter about this?
We haven't talked. She was living with me up until the time shortly after the funerals, and then we went our separate ways. I haven't talked to her in over 2 years.
So it sounds like you've lost 2 children.
Yes, ma'am. And then the two that look like me the most, and it's crazy.
Are you hoping that this trial, maybe at the end, things can change with your daughter?
Yeah, once she see the truth and the boys get convicted, I'm hoping that her whole demeanor change. But knowing them, they're going to be like, wait till the appeal. He's still innocent. Wait till the appeal. But
now listen, this commenter says, YNW ain't no saint. If you out in them streets, there's only 2 ways out, dead or jail. And that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. YNW a fool for trying to set up Melly. So a lot of people are saying that they were going to get Melly and Melly had to get him first. Well, I don't know if that's true, but if it's true, guys, then that means Melly did it, right? So I think it's some people out here who ain't no fools, and they understand that he allegedly was responsible for what happened.
See, man, it's going to be a process.
I know you watched a lot of the first day of the trial. How did you feel it was going so far, and have you watched today as well?
Yes, ma'am. I think it's going pretty good. It's just a long process. Just got to trust the process in my book. And I think she's doing a good job. I think once the ballistic, the forensics, the cell phone, and when they showed that Chris got shot on his left cheek, and the fact Griffey got shot from this side of the car on his left cheek, with stipling on his face and the burn marks on his face from the gun muzzle, all that's going to point in one direction to that guy that was sitting in the back driver's passenger side.
And that is true. And that is what evidence has discovered. Okay? That is the discovery for the evidence, is that it was closer than someone who was outside of the car at a distance. and it came from a trajectory of that the back driver's side seat. And they also have video of Melly getting in that seat.
Christine Bradley, the prosecutor, had said yesterday that the medical examiner is going to testify that before the shots were fired into the vehicle, that your son and Anthony, they were already dead. When those shots went into the vehicle, they had already been shot in the fatal
thought. This is the shots that they're talking about, where it is alleged that Melly and the other guy who drove them to the hospital, allegedly, before going to the hospital, got outside the car, shot up the car to make it believable that they were shot at from others outside the car.
Shots came from the back seat. And that's the testimony that's expected.
Yes, ma'am. My understanding, yes, the shot that Chris left seat was the fatal shot that took him out. And then when he staged the drive-by, the shots from the back, they could tell by the way Chris' body was slumped over how, it was staged after the fact. Yeah, I guess that's going to come out. I can't wait. That's going to be, breaking news. And with Chris wasn't killed in the drive-by. I know that for a fact.
One thing that Christine Bradley said yesterday was that in the days leading up to this, Melly was learning the oath of loyalty to the G Shine blood set, to a gang. Did you know anything about that? Had your son ever discussed anything with you about this gang that Melly was allegedly becoming a part of?
I'm not supposed to be sharing this with you, so listen close.
No, that was something he was doing in his private life on his own, separate from Kristen. And Christine, or the lawyers was always saying that Chris lived in Miramar. Chris never lived down there. He lived in Gifford. Florida. He might go down there for a day or two, but he always had the same address, same house, same everything, up until his time of passing.
Well, I wanted to play some clips from the trial so far. And Chris, I want to get your feelings on
something. I don't
something.
know anything about his son, so I can't say, but is he trying to say his son was innocent, he was a saint, and he wasn't involved in none of those activities, and he may have went down there, but his legal address was something else? Come on, son. If your son was, he was, okay? It doesn't mean that something didn't happen to him and the person that did it should be held accountable. But, hey, whatever.
Of what was said in opening statements. This is Christine Bradley, the assistant state attorney, talking about what amounts to possibly a confession in this case.
So in summary, the last thing I want to tell you that the evidence will show is that in the Instagram, because the defendant had a moderate social media following at the time of these events, people are reaching out to him. Some fans, some friends, some associates. You'll see on October 26th, after about 8 a.m. in the morning, Eastern time, multiple messages are coming in. Messages are coming in from individuals checking to see if he's okay, if he's been injured in this drive-by. It is true that Anthony Williams, who's also sometimes referred to as Sack, and Chris Thomas, who is referred to as Judy, are really dead. One individual specifically sends out, and I want to quote the message exactly that you will hear, and says, right after this, "Yo, homie, you good? Let me know something." And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is where context matters. What does that mean? If you work at Google and you say, "My whole floor is coding," that's a good thing. If you work at Barrett General Hospital and you say, "My whole floor is coding," that is a bad thing. The context around the messages matters. So in the context of this message, this individual is reaching out, asking if Mr. Demmons is good, after he's been tagged in multiple social media posts about this drive-through. This shooting.
Okay, this is what I'm saying about this DA. I don't know her history, and she's making me want to look her up at this point, because I know all of y'all know about her and this woman, this witness, YN Melly's ex-girlfriend's mom, and how that all went, and that's just clearly she's badgering this woman and threatening her and intimidating her and everything to try to force her to speak, which is kind of odd, because a lot of people, based upon what's said, is that her original statement was that YN Melly was on FaceTime with her daughter and possibly her. And so I think the DA is wanting to push her because she wants to prove that the woman lied in her original testimony. But so far, from what I've seen, we've just gotten proof that this woman has been treated as a hostile witness very badly. So that is just not a good move, even though she wants to force this woman to cooperate, and the woman doesn't want to cooperate. I'm sure there's other tactics she can use besides, because she is literally putting herself in a position to where she needs to be probably taken out the case, and she could face probably some penalties. I don't know. But this analogy that she just attempted to do, what? Somebody hit him up on IG and said, let me know something, you good, basically. And she is trying to say, okay, so if you work at Google and people hit you up and they say, someone at Google says, my whole floor is coding. That's a good thing. Listen, I'm not even going to go into, do y'all heard what this woman just said? That wasn't good at all. That sucked completely. But we're going to let her continue. Like, dude, what you doing right now? And you think she gonna, I haven't even seen this part, but do you think she gonna actually drive this home the way she started out? Do you think she about to drive this? I bet you she not. No way.
And Mr. Demmons responds very succinctly, I did that.
Chris, when you heard that, what did you think?
Sound like a...
Okay, I wasn't expecting that I did that. But what does that got to do with... What? That was corny and whack. That was weak as hell. She couldn't come up with any better way to drive that home. Somebody hit him up and saying, what's good, let me know something, and him saying, I did that. She couldn't find no better way. I think she may have lost the audience with that. I think the jury probably still sitting there saying like, what? I think she lost the impact of I did that throughout all that other junk she was trying to say. They probably still trying to understand, what does him saying let me know something and him saying I did that, what that got to do with Google and coding and
Cryptic confession to me. Like you said, if you take everything into context, it sounded like he was speaking on the incident that happened and he admitted to doing it and said, don't say anything about it. That's how I took it.
It sounds like there's going to be some cell phone evidence presented in this case, some other things. Oh, anything you can share with us about that?
Cell phone.
Y'all are so mad that I was hiding this, so I'm going to
show that Melly was in the backseat.
That's another smoking gun that his lawyer tried to get thrown out, and the judge wasn't having it. Not at all. He had a phone that pinged with him being in the car. He's trying to say through his lawyers that it wasn't his. Other people used it too, so it could have been anybody else. Well, who was in the back seat of the car? You're the only person that they have video showing that got in the car. Who else could have been around at that time? Can you bring up somebody? Can you give us somebody? No, you cannot. Sorry.
The surveillance camera with him getting in the back seat, and they also showed the phone. They show him going around the car twice, like shooting up the car or whatever. And then when he gets out the car, they have him getting out the car as well, and on the side of the road. Then he made the FaceTime phone call to Felicia Holmes, Mariah Hamilton's mom, and she's going to testify to that she saw him on the side of the road in the bushes talking about he think that Juvie and Zach was murdered or dead or whatever. And
yeah,
I was thinking like,
okay. So this was supposed to be the nature of that FaceTime that the DA is so desperately trying to get her to repeat. I'm kind of still, I haven't been watching the whole case, so I can't really, but I'm kind of confused as to why that's such an issue. If the woman already made a formal statement, do you need to force her to say it again? Or can you just get her on the stand and be like, didn't you say this? Didn't you say you saw him on there and he was in the bushes and he was trying to say that he think that they're deceased, right? But I noticed the woman was trying to evade the question, and she was like, I don't remember who I was talking to. That was a hard year for me, blase, blase. So I think that she was, in a sense, preventing the DA from being able to lead to that question, because she's already starting out by saying she don't remember what she said, and she probably could have said anything just because her mind state was wonked out. I don't know who coached the lady, but y'all can't even front. She doing a good job. I don't know what she's been through. Her testimony is saying, a lot. That's unfortunate, but If she wanted to avoid having these questions asked and demanding for her to answer, and she knows that she's forced to be a witness and she already gave a statement and she's been subpoenaed, obviously she's preventing that DA from making her repeat that again in court for the jury to hear. So that's interesting.
At that time, like, who told him that? So he had to have knowledge of something. So I just think, in my opinion, but maybe it was an open and shut case. I think Melly's guilty as charged, and I wish nothing but the death penalty for him.
Let's listen to Christine Bradley again, talking about Instagram messages and this whole thing about the loyalty oath to the gang.
From the Instagram, from the private messages, was that Jamel Demons is a member of the G Shine Blood set. This is not a stage personality. This is not an actor that's playing a character. This was his real life. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see that as soon as October 24th, 2 days before the homicide, Jamel Demons is learning the oath of loyalty to the G Shine Blood set. You're going to see things in these messages that will be indicative of blood membership. For example, anytime a word would normally be spelled with a C, as in Charlie, they don't use that. They replace it with the letter B. So instead of saying, I'm at the crib, they say, I'm at the brib. Why, ladies and gentlemen? Because C is associated with cribs. B is for bloods. So if you look through all the messages, you will notice time and time again, Jamel Demons is dropping C's and using B's. And you're going to see pictures, you're going to see videos of the defendant doing something called sagging, which is a way to show a gang affiliation and to broadcast it to the world. And this is not just in music videos. This is not just in lyrics. Because we're not going to get into that. That's artistic expression. That's not why we are here today.
So Chris, your thoughts on what Christine Bradley said there. Do you think that your son's death and Anthony's death was in any way related to any type of gang initiation process?
On the text messages and from what I heard her tell me about the text messages, I think so. Because it's other text messages, I don't want to divulge too much information that's going to come out that's going to support that theory.
Let's look at the defense now. Melly's defense attorney obviously saying he's innocent, that they can't prove this. So let's listen to David Howard.
That's the first indication that they're just guessing and don't know what they're talking. And that, ladies and gentlemen, by itself is reasonable doubt. Why he would commit such a heinous crime against his own two best friends for no reason. What happened here is that lead detective, Detective Moretti, saw a video of Mr. Demons.
That is he talking slow when I got it. Look at the speed, 1.5, and he's still talking slow. Get out of here. I'm about to speed him up. But 98% conviction rate in the state of Florida. Well, they must have been using a different DA. I'm gonna say that. The dad said his motive was money, but then he said he did it for gang initiation. I don't think he said that. I think he said money. Melly a weirdo. Have someone's mom name tattooed on him. Yeah, he got to do. I don't understand that part. In my opinion, all these chicken-legged little baby goblins ought to be done away with. Oh. Cryptic confession. This gentleman is well-spoken and has a gift for vernacular. Let's see. What was the motive for this? Okay. You just riding a short bus right now. Why don't they use a lie detector test? For what? It's not admissible in court, Dodo Bird. It's sad how this world is now killing your own friends. Yeah, it is. Okay, so more coming out. This was about him not wanting to pay them. His manager, sir, got into his head and wanted to keep all the money for himself. Let's speed this dude up, though. Because I'm really interested in the things that the father is saying.
Getting into a car 40 plus minutes before bodies were found in that car. And then he discovered that Mr. Demons was a rising star. And from that point on, he decided he's the only person that could have committed this crime. Because if you're involved in prosecuting a star, you become a star. This was his big break. And he had tunnel vision. He zeroed in on this person, this young man, as the only possible perpetrator of that crime, to the exclusion of all other leads and evidence.
Chris, what did you think when David Howard said that?
It was all just something that I made up. I don't believe nothing that he was just saying. Because, that's the same theory that his managers was pushing on us. Like, oh, It is not Melly. You know how the white man always trying to take the black man down and this, that, and another. He's just a successful black guy. I don't want to hear none of that. That's not true. If anything, why him? Why Melly? Why just put this on him? Why Melly? It don't make sense. They just throwing Hail Marys, like throwing stuff to the wall, hoping it's stick.
I don't know why every American family hasn't claimed this yet.
Y'all notice how all these commercials been about the government giving out money? Dude, listen, son, we don't want it. Keep it. All right, cut it out. Google, stop showing me that commercial. I know you listening.
Up to the wall, hoping it's stick.
David Howard also says that the police botched this investigation. Let's listen to him talk about that.
They don't follow leads. They have no motive. Investigation was botched. Investigation, as a matter of fact, is still going on as we speak, up to a couple months ago. If they're here telling you they have proof beyond reasonable doubt, and what you're still investigating. The job of the state is to prove it beyond to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt. And if you're a reasonable person and you have doubt, that's reasonable doubt. The strong all things that make you go, If you say, that's reasonable doubt.
That's true.
You do not. Ms. Bradley is charming. She's doing a good job in some respects. But this is not a popularity contest. We don't give hey, good effort. We don't give participation awards. This man's life is hanging in the balance. And if there is a scintilla of reasonable doubt, you must have the courage to speak up and say so. You're not here to judge him. You're here to judge the sufficiency of their case. They have a big task in front of them. Just probably get to it.
Wow. So what were your thoughts, and do you believe that this investigation was botched?
Oh, man. I don't think it was botched. I think they did a great job, and everything will come together in the end. He's just trying to put a little thought in the jury's minds. Like, he wasn't even trying to tell them, like, he's innocent. He's just, like, trying to, like, put a reasonable doubt. Not that he's innocent. He's not trying to prove his innocence. Like, it's like to me, they know he did.
That's a fact. You don't hear him saying that. Okay, not once. Did you hear him say that? At all throughout this trial? Not once.
They're trying to get, I don't know, they just know he did it. They're not trying to prove his innocence.
I feel like so often you get into the evidence and really the victims get lost in these trials. Just any final words about your son?
It's always forever long live Juvie. I miss him and love him to death. He got a lot of Melly fans that be spamming my inbox and all over. Even y'all got chat to my free Melly. But one of their loved ones was to get murdered. Imagine the whole world saying free the alleged killer of that guy. It just make you feel some type of way and just want to crash out yourself because, I don't know, first they trying to make it seem like Chris and Zach was extorting Melly, which is a false narrative that his camp painted. That was never true. And Chris never did nothing to nobody. They can't even say nothing he did to Melly. Nothing that, they can't show anything that made him want to do anything to Chris. And that's what got me the way I'm feeling because Chris never did anything. And he loved that dude. And that dude did that to him. I never accept that. And to everybody that's on his side, is on the opposite side of me.
If he's convicted, would you like him to get the death penalty? Because he's the first person to have the death penalty as a potential punishment since the law change lowered the threshold for it.
Yes, 949. Old Testament.
So a commenter says he had me all the way until he said he was a good kid. And yeah, that part, I can't even get deep with that because I don't know about the guy history, but look at what he was hanging with. So how can this dude say his son was a good kid? Like, I'm missing that part. And I don't see anybody in any of the comment section that's saying he was the one out of all of them that didn't do anything bad. He stayed out of trouble. He didn't hang with them. He just sung with them. Like, a lot of people are saying about what's the other ones that just took Offset? Was it whatever his name is? A lot of people are saying he was the best rapper of the whole crew and he was the nicest one of the whole crew. A lot of people are saying that about him, but I don't see anybody saying Chris never did nothing to nobody except for his dad. And we know he didn't spend his time with his dad. He didn't hang out with his pops on the streets. No, he hang with thugs and gangbangers and stuff, making thug gangbanger music. So, my thing is also, and I'm going to say this too, I understand that the father is not happy that YNW Melly and what's the other guy, that they're acting, their response and everything. It's not that they're grieving. And that they didn't come to the funeral and stuff like that. But this is the type that your son hung with. That comes with the territory. That's the type. You have snakes. Then they come in all different shapes and sizes and types. And he was a type of snake who, unlike Vaughn, who probably went to funerals. I know there was a statement in the documentary he was going to get a shirt made. And he seemed to mourn his friends, and he seemed to want to avenge his friends. He was not accused of being the ones to take out his friends. So if you have this other type of snake here, YNW Melly, and he actually was the one who took out the friend, you're not gonna really, it's not really, is it that shocking that he actually is not caring and not going to the funerals and things like that? That type of behavior screams, I did do it, and I don't care. Can we get this over with so I can be even more popular? And since this is the most profitable state of mind for the powers that be these days, it is a good chance that although it looks like this guy should be convicted of this, he's probably not going to be. So what are your thoughts, guys, on the whole Vaughn shit and him being a alleged serial murder? And why did that go on so long without him being arrested? Why did he get the opportunity to make so much money and be a star? And YN Melly, do you think he did it? And do you think he's going to get off? Leave your comments below. Peace.